Welcome, world, to Life, Love, and Wellness Global, a worldwide wellness movement. I am Reverend Sandy Rogers, and as the creator of this historic event, it is my pleasure to welcome you. We come together to bring you this historic event. We have practitioners, holistic practitioners. We have medical doctors, we have spiritual individuals. This event is so lovingly dedicated to my mother, Mrs. Barbara Dean Brown. And my mother taught me like 40 plus years ago about the importance and the meaning behind herbs. And she would always say, we don't know what they putting in those pills, so you better not, get hooked on prescription drugs. And so we listened to Mom, but not all of us paid attention. My sister, bless her heart, was diagnosed recently thereafter with asthma, and she was prescribed prednisone, which is a very powerful steroid. And my sister actually got hooked on steroids like someone out on the street kind of hooked, like on heroin or crack or something like that. And so my mom and my sister are both on the other side, living in the other dimension, but they're upholding me, and this is dedicated to their memory. So we don't want to come and make you change your mind about what you're doing. We just want to provide information to you, something different, so that you have options to choose from, so that you're not stuck. Because the environment that we now live in, the fast foods, the toxins in the air that we breathe and in the water that we drink, and the processed foods, and all of that is causing havoc on this precious body temple. So God created our bodies to heal themselves, but they can only heal themselves when they're fed and they're nourished and they're stress-free. And so the 60 or so or more experts that we have are bringing you this worldwide wellness movement in an attempt to share their testimonies and their information with you. So we have from age 14 on up. I don't even know what the oldest age is. I think 88 or something. So you see, that's a wide range of knowledge that we're bringing you. And so we hope that you come and that you get all the knowledge that you need to affect a positive change on your life, and share this with others. It's free, it's online, and so we're just so thankful that you decided to be a part of our listening community, the viewing community, and we certainly appreciate you for giving us your time of day and your energy and your efforts to being with us and to being a part of this historic event. We have pulled together people of color for you, by you, right? So we want to make sure that you understand that we too, melanated people with color, can enjoy, practice, and participate in some of these modalities that others have been doing for centuries, and that is pretty new to our community. So we talk about Qigong, we talk about meditation, yoga, spiritual work from a different perspective than religion. So we talk about the spirituality aspect. We talk about abuse in the families. We talk about all kinds of subjects because we know that in our communities there are layers and layers and layers and layers of stuff that we never talk about that's causing a negative effect on our bodies and its healing process. So we address it, whatever it is, and we hope that you will benefit from the many experts that we have, and that you walk away with lots of knowledge and lots of new information, and that you become fully empowered to share information with others. So thank you for being with us. We love you and we bless you, and we look forward to doing this again. But thanks for being here with the first one. We appreciate you.
Life, love, and wellness. Life, love, and wellness.
Jon Jackson from Comfort Farms, Executive Director of Stag Vets, and we created Comfort Farms to help veterans out. And Sandy is wanting some of these delicious collard greens that we have. We have a bed of collards. These guys are great because all we have to do is pick from the outside and they continue to grow. And everything is grown here organically. We pay attention to the actual micronutrients in the soil. And these guys have done really, really great. So I hope you enjoy them. What do you plan on doing with them, Sandy?
Well, some I'm going to use in a smoothie, and
yeah,
some
yeah.
I'll use as a wrap, in a wrap.
Good, nice.
Yeah,
nice.
yeah.
Beautiful.
They look delicious, though.
Yeah,
Just
yeah.
absolutely beautiful.
Yeah, these are great. So
what made you start Stag? You say Stag Farm?
Yeah, Stag Vets.
Stag Vets.
Yeah,
Comfort Farms.
Yeah, I started this farm to help vets like myself. You know, I'm a 100% disabled vet, and just looking for something to do to kind of occupy my time, kind of keep my mind off of war, and or just help work through the issues that I had because of war. You know, and the VA didn't have much things going on for me for veterans like myself, so I decided that I would just create my own nonprofit, and my vision was to use farming as a way for us to kind of work back into the system of things, and it's been really, really great, and so that's kind of where this all developed from.
Because you went the traditional route originally, right? As far as dealing with post-traumatic stress syndrome?
Yeah, and they gave me so many pills. A lot of that. I developed type 2 diabetes because of just being on so many different drugs that just inhibited my testosterone. You know, I went from doing a lot of things, being a very active guy, to just sitting on a couch, and I just thought the VA was trying to kill me, and so I decided that I would just go ahead and take my life back, take my health back by doing something that's completely natural, you know. And there's nothing better than actual, you know, farming and being out here in the dirt, working every day, seeing your progress, you know, your labor. It's like you plant something, you fight Mother Nature, she wins most of the time. But you know, it's like, it's one of those things that you get these small victories, and you got small victories.
Yes, yes, that's beautiful.
Let's go get you some dino kill.
Yes.
Yeah, one of our main things that we're looking to do, Sandy, is rural America, and particularly rural Georgia, is suffering a lot. You know, the economic situation might be great in the cities, in the big cities, but down here in the country, it's not. And I see a way where there can be a symbiotic relationship between our cities and rural Georgia, where we can grow the food that a lot of our city folks need to eat. If you think about how many pounds or tons of food comes that, let's say, Atlanta eats, right? How many tons of corn, tomatoes, beans do they go through every single day? How much of that is coming from Georgia? If only a quarter of that came from Georgia, it'd probably be a huge, significant impact on our rural communities. And so, as a nonprofit, veteran ran, I'm looking to kind of create that system and the infrastructure where we can help our small farmers and family farms, in particularly, give the people what they want, which is access to more local, sustainably raised foods.
So you're helping the vets by providing them an outlet to work through some of the issues that they've had while they were in service.
Yes.
And you're also helping the general public by providing real food to them, which I call God's groceries.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. And two, it's like, because vets, we never want to stop serving. I mean, you think about it, we go to war so we could serve our country. When we come back home, we don't want war to define our service. We want to continue to serve. And so I think that's the biggest problem that many vets have, is that they don't have an outlet to serve. And what better way to do that than to raise good food, right?
Yeah.
So,
Helping other people. Yeah.
helping other people, and that's it. And our children, like I grew up, no dig on my mom or dad, but I grew up in a time where processed food and cheap commodity food was the law of the land, right? And so we didn't grow up like our grandparents eating, raw milk and eating like healthy fats and eating pork that was like unbelievably nutritious for you. We grew up with all this commodity stuff that really has a bad impact on you. And so my generation is going to see a significant increase in heart disease, obesity, and things like that. You look at a lot of these World War II vets, they're up in their 90s. They're slim and trim. Why? Because they started off eating farm food, like just all those type of things. Not like us, And so, and that's the thing. I really want to get that back. I want my children to experience, what I didn't. So that's where I'm at.
Yeah, I made a comment earlier about your daughter. Like, what a wonderful opportunity for a child to grow up watching this food grow from out of the ground. Because, I really think a lot of our children don't even understand that it comes from out of the ground.
Right, absolutely. How do you like this? Is this good enough for you?
Yes, that's beautiful.
All right.
Thank you.
Good stuff. Cool. So here's your basket.
Look at my basket, you
Your
guys. Yay. So this is the first day of their
our market.
Farmers market.
And we can go out here. It's getting a little hot.
Yeah, it's hot in here.
That's why I decided to do on-farm farmers market. So that way, I want to get people connected to their food. Yeah. When you go in a grocery store, it's nice, but you're not associated with the farmer.
That's right.
You don't know where it comes from. You don't know them personally. Yeah. When did we start getting to this place? I mean, food is a communal thing. It's like we that's what brings stubborn men and women to the table. And it's just like to go in a place where you don't have any interaction with anybody, and it's just this process. Some people laugh at us across the world. They're like, what do you mean, you guys? You like going to the supermarket and all that kind of stuff. How come you don't grow your food? So, I mean, that's the society that we're in. But if we could do our part by helping people get connected to their food, to their farmer, know where their food coming from, and be educators and ambassadors, it's all really about policy making right now, because, the amount of farmers, we're losing the amount of farmers in the next 10 years, right? So, like, our kids, we need to be teaching them about farming, about agriculture, because they're going to be the policy makers and shifters. If they're not there to advocate for small family farms and things like that, we're going to lose it. And a lot of these folks are, like a lot of these family farms that are moving, they're getting older and they're selling the farm. Their children aren't taking over the farm, so they're being bought up by corporate farms. And America don't even know it. In the next 10 years, you're going to have a large swath of American heartland owned by corporate farms, big corporate organizations, many of them foreign, growing food here. And we're going to wake up one day and be like, what happened to family farms? Got the bees going on over there?
Yeah, we got a good, I took a good movie of them as he was checking them.
Oh, did you?
Yeah,
Good deal.
All right.
Honey, oh yeah, go ahead. No, the honey taste has a very lemony flavor to it. And so we know that they love lemon thyme, and our lemon thyme is in full bloom right now. And also the privet is in full bloom, and honeysuckle is in full bloom. So those guys are making some good honey right now.
Wow. So you had said privet earlier. What is that?
So privet is a Japanese plant. It's an invasive plant. They brought it over because it makes nice, beautiful hedgerows and things like that. But we hate privet. Like Americans typically hate privet. When I used to hunt, I noticed that all the deer, all the hogs and everything would eat privet. And for some reason, you watch an animal eat, you're like, okay, there must be some nutritional value there. So I did research, and privet is a really good source of food for wildlife and stuff. So it grows out here. The bees love privet. It's high nectar producing plant. Great for pollen because they need that pollen to help their brood, and then they also need to make nectar as well for honey, so that way it sustains them as well. So, but yeah, the hogs are great because what I like to do is I'll put animals out into a field and kind of see what they like to eat more of than others. Like they'll pass through some things and this, that, and the other thing. And hogs almost have like a taste palate like a human in a sense too, you know. So one day I put them in my okra patch, and I figured they'll eat all my okra pods. They passed over the okra pods and went straight for the leaves, and they were eating the okra leaves. And I'm like, is the okra leaves, are they edible? And I did research on it, and the whole plant in the okra is edible, from the leaves to the stem to the flowers. Everything is edible. And those the leaves, you cook them up like spinach. And so I never knew that had I not seen my hogs like jumping over each other just to eat okra leaves. So I can't wait to have okra leaves this year. And it's something that you don't typically see. And it's interesting because a lot of the African like plants that derive from Africa, the whole plant is edible versus just certain parts of it, you know. So it's like, you know, squash here, it's you just eat the squash, you know. But like if it was an African squash, it'd probably be totally edible on everything. It's just my observation.
Well, that's good to know.
Yeah.
So how did you start?
Literally, I started with a vision, just planning and looking at the end game of where I want to be, and then work backwards, you know, and kind of what impact I want to make on in a veterans community, my personal life with my family, and also just, you know, being able to help people. So it was just really coming up with a good, solid plan, and then follow through on everything that I need. So yeah, once I put that plan into place, I started working. The hardest thing to do is, like, you know, you start, you might not have enough money, you might not have any impact, and a lot of people don't understand that you have, you know, where I don't have actual funds to do things, I do have social currency, right? And I think a lot of folks devalue what their social currency is, you know, and social currency is huge because it is what connects you to people, is what connects people to your mission and things like that. And so I really doubled down on the amount of social currency that I had, and now I'm here, you know, in 2-year period. So just kind of taking, like, you know, not taking no for an answer, or, you know, like people say you can't do this, you can't do that. I look at it as a challenge, you know, like I can do anything, you know. And I get farmers that come here and they say, man, it looks like you've been here for like 7-10 years, you know. And I said, I know, but that's just how I work, you know. It's like, you know, I was here till 2:30 this morning, you know, getting ready for market, you know, and we got pigs to catch up, you know, for sent over to market, you know, tomorrow. So it's just like, it's nonstop, but I love it.
Right. So how many veterans have you served? Do you know? Have you?
Well, I could tell you, so I would say veterans in need of like serious crisis situations, we'll probably get about, like, over the past 2 years, I would say, like, significant, we're like 15 to 20 vets that were like really needing some help, you know. I mean, it's nonstop on that type of thing. And when that happens, everything stops, you know, because you got to help your vet that's in need, or a family member of a vet that needs help for their vet. So But in regards to how many people and veterans that have come visit to this place over the past 2 years, it's well over 2,000 folks that have come to visit this place. With families, we get vets that stay they bring the RVs, or they'll stay here, get a hotel, or stay in the house, and they'll just come out just to work, just to be a part of something. And we got vets all over. They're wanting me to start this thing in all the other states, so I don't necessarily have a plan for them to start, as much as I'm making it up as I go, because there's really no blueprint for what we're doing. But it seems like the next evolution into that is doing that. Is making the plans. So what I would like to do is, I want this to be totally sustainable on itself. So every state, I think, should have organizations like this that support their state. And then that state is tied, then that organization is tied into the e-commerce of their state. So what I probably would do is get more, leave this, but advocate for everybody. Kind of do more consulting and making sure that things are done the right way, get connected to the right people. I really see myself getting more advocacy for small communities. So, like I said, the next step from here is, after we finish setting this place up in places like this around Georgia, to do it full scale, because I think I have the ability and the know-how to kind of connect all those dots, in a really impactful way.
And tell us, how did you come up with the name Comfort Farm?
Oh, so my ranger buddy, his name was Captain Collie Comfort. He died on May 8th, 2010, which is 3 days from now, right? Kyle Comfort died. And literally during this time, in 2010, which, man, I can't believe it, that's almost 8 years ago. Wow, time has flew by. But yeah, 8 years ago, we were in Afghanistan and working on a big mission. And these were the days leading up to it. And in 3 days, he would not make it back from mission. So I had no idea that I would name the farm after him or anything, but I just knew once I got out that I needed to do something for the greater good and to help my community out, remember my brothers, and so I love Kyle. Kyle's a good dude, and I just said, let me, why don't I do something in honor of Kyle? And I already had the farm concept. I didn't know what to name it, and then I was just thinking, Comfort Farms. Like, wow, and as soon as I said that, it was just like, oh man, that's beautiful, because a lot of people think we're using comfort as a way for healing, which is true, but there's Kyle was just, it's about Kyle too, about Kyle, his family, his daughter that is growing up right now, and his family, his mom, his widow, and all the folks who love and respect him. So that's what this place is about. It's about giving back, and keeping the memory alive.
I think that's a beautiful tribute to your friendship.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And it keeps us honest too. You don't want to bring dishonor on your buddy who's sacrificed so much to the world. He paid the ultimate sacrifice, right?
Yes.
So you wake up every morning. I wake up every morning, and I think about, how do I honor my brother? How do I honor the community, my family? How do I keep everybody? It's just that constant thing. So when I get people that have different ideas about stuff that aren't mission focused and what I'm here about, then it's just kind of, I'm quick to cut their feet from right under them, because I don't, you're in a whole nother situation. I do this. I'm 100% volunteer to this thing. And I totally believe in transparency, making sure that our donors and our sponsors see everything that we do. And this place, how it is a result of community support, from the grassroots level.
It's so peaceful out here.
Yeah.
You just feel it. So Comfort is a very appropriate name as far as I am concerned.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
Yes.
It's beautiful.
Yeah. No, it is. You're absolutely right. It's a peaceful place. Good energy on this place. It's set up just right. We did good by this place by just kind of respecting the natural lay of the land and not being too invasive on what it is, and we have a good time out here. Yeah. It's a good time out here.
How large is your property?
It's 25 acres, so and we're only farming on 5 acres right now. So and we're going to expand our hog pens to do 2 3-acre plots. So that way my hogs they spend a year in each of those plots and they just rotate. And so by the time they get back to that first plot, it's like in year 3. That way we can go ahead, once we move them out of there, we'll go ahead, thin some trees, we'll plant some more fruit trees, plant some more nut trees, and then we'll time a harvest on our pigs during the crop drop, a heavy crop drop that they have. And that way they can finish up on figs and plums and persimmon and, sawtooth oak and things like that. So makes for a delicious hog.
We appreciate you, Jon, so much for the work that you do, not only for our own nutrition, but for the health and the welfare of the veterans. And take my hat off to you on that again. The webinar is about various areas of wellness.
Yeah.
Is there anything in closing that you would like to leave with the worldwide audience?
Yeah, so we really have to get connected to the earth, and we have to get connected to our food in every way. We should demand better. We should never settle for the cheapest. You get what you pay for, right? So, and I know a lot in our community, we're very cost conscious on food, but we're not cost conscious on material things like cars and jewelry and clothes. We spend top dollar for that, but we don't put the money in our we don't put the money where we need it most, which is our health. And so, a lot of folks, they talk about the gentrification of black spaces, where they become white spaces now, and you have a lot of white people moving into these places for farmers markets, and people complain about, the food's too expensive and it's not for us. And so one of the things that I try to focus on is, I look at other things, like I go to the barbershop in a lot of these areas that complain, and they charge more for a haircut than they do where I'm at in the city, right? The liquor stores are not coming down on prices for Ciroc or Hennessy. They're paying full price for those type of things. So it's not so much as, it's not as I say it, an issue of, white or black. It's where our value system is. What do we value most? If we value food, if we value our health more than we value material things, then we'll take the shift. And that's what we should be striving for. We should be striving to change the shift from things that are not going to make us healthy to things that will make us healthy. And we need to be enforcing that in our children. And so that's my health thing for the day, especially for my community, which I love so much, because I want to see more farms, more urban farms in urban communities and in rural communities that our folks have access to, more so than the other things that's killing us, So, and if I have any part in doing that, which we will, we're going to be opening up comfort farms to socially disadvantaged children, kids without fathers, and also Gold Star children from the military whose parents who've lost a parent in war. We're going to open up our farm to these kids to have them show and compete in 4-H. We'll sponsor them, we'll get them all the cool swag and everything like that so they can go in. They don't have to have a farm. This could be their farm. And our vets will make sure that they got everything that they need, because that's how you plant the seed for the next generation. Mm-hmm. Get them started young. They may never do anything with it. These kids are going to go off to college. They're going to move off to a big city. But then when there are policies that need to be placed for agriculture and for our food system, those kids will be connected to it, and they're going to be the ones that's going to keep this thing around, you know, whether I'm here or not. So that's my piece.
Well, thank you. We appreciate you taking time from the farmers market today, and we've had so much fun out here. And I've got my veggies, and I'm excited. And the piglets are right behind you, and they're doing what they do over there. So yeah, in the water. Love it, love it. So thank you, Jon. We appreciate you.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Okay.
Guys. What we have here is a farm. And vets who come to this farm think they are here to farm. They're not here to farm. They're here to work on life skills. And one of the things that as veterans that we lose, especially if you've been in heavy combat like I have, is emotions. You become detached, you become numb, you lose intimacy with your wife, with your kids, and things like that. I can take a vet and I can put him in the back working with a hog that's about to have a sow that's about to have piglets, or a rabbit that's about to kit, or our sheep that's about to lamb, and they're in charge of that. They're in charge of that process. And what happens is, over the course of time, these guys are working with these animals, they're raising these animals, and they're doing things with these animals and making a connection with these animals that can build a bridge back to their families and communities. And so without them even knowing it, they're working on their issues. I had a vet who's he's seen a lot of stuff, and I gave him 3 pigs, and I knew what I was doing when I did this. He's a hard charger, rocking and rolling everything, and he raised these pigs for over a year. And then I come back and I come to pick the pigs up to go bring them to slaughter, and he cried. And it was an aha moment for me, because I walked over to him and I said, "Welcome home, buddy." You know, and he's like, "What you mean?" And I said, "You're starting to feel emotions again. You haven't felt it in a long time." And he looked at me and his eyes got bright, and he said, "You MFer." You know, that's what he told me. But that's really what this place can do, that the drugs and everything can't do. It's to get you out here and put you in an environment that's healthy, where you could build yourself, you can build your bridge back to your family, back to your community. The reason why it's not popular, because it's not a quick fix. And everything we do is a quick fix. Take this pill, take this pill, take this pill, take this pill. And by the way, take all these pills from the complications you're going to get from all the pills that I just gave you. And so that's the answer. So who benefits? The drug companies, the doctors who get the kickbacks, and the vets don't get any of that. The families don't get any of that. And so that's really what this place is about. This place is for, it's to, I'm not saying that, you know, drugs and things like that have no place. They do, you know, in some situations, but it shouldn't be the first and only choice. Okay? And so we need to use this as our open door therapy, open door office space. And I challenge all therapists. I don't care if you're working with a veteran population or not. You get your group that you have, you bring them down here, and you work with them in this place. You're willing to put sweat equity into them, they're going to be drawn more to you because you can do work. It's easy to sit behind a desk and listen to my war stories and to listen to this and that, and then go ahead and assess me. But if you really want to connect with me, you come out here and let's bust our knuckles together. And if you're not willing to do that, then why should I talk to you? That's just how I feel about it.
And where is this place?
Comfort Farms.
Where in Georgia?
Milledgeville, Georgia.